Hello everybody, Intuition here. Thank you as always for making time and space for us. Today we'd like to talk about the concept of loneliness. And what does loneliness really mean? If we all experience loneliness at one point or another, where does it come from? And why do we feel such a strange feeling? And I say that it is a strange feeling because you really are never alone. I mean, you have a million sayings that say that. If you're with God, then you're never alone. If you walk with Jesus, then you're never alone. Something is always, but your shadow is following you, you're never alone. A million reasons why you're never alone, but yet so many individuals feel so alone. But what does alone really, honestly, truly mean? Because there is no such thing as being alone. So, if there's no such thing as being alone, then what does that mean? In what context does that make that scary for you, being alone? Because usually if you define loneliness, being alone, what you're feeling really is a sense of abandonment. But when you look around to see who has abandoned you, you see nothingness. Even more scarier than the abandonment. That nothingness could really take you away. So, really then, are you feeling alone? Is there such a thing as feeling alone? Literally or figuratively? Because you are never alone. Literally, just walk outside. There's something right there. There's a tree, there's a bird, there's a cricket, there's a mountain, there's a forest, there's a river, there's the sun, there's the moon, there's the stars, there's your neighbor, there's a dog, there's a cat. How are you alone? Are you in a box, floating outside in outer space? Because even then, you are still not alone. Look around, there's a star, there's some space, there's some more space. You know, there's things in that space, right? The space between the space, there's still some things up in there. So you're never really alone, literally. And figuratively, if we look at the definition of what being alone means, we just deciphered that really means abandonment. If we go all the way down to the basement floor, what that really means is nothing, because you look around to see who's abandoned you and, oh, it's nothingness. But what's really scary about that nothingness is that nothingness has been what it is on some level that we have identified ourselves as being. If we're alone, if we have no friends, if all of our friends have left us, then we must be abandoned, which then therefore means that we must be nothing. My worst fear come to fruition. Nothingness. And that is not to say, again, that that's not a valid fear. Nothingness can be scary if you don't know what nothingness is. But that's just another fancy definition, another fancy word, because again, there is no such thing really as nothingness. There's always something in the nothing. And what is so wrong about nothingness? If you all aren't complaining about you're never alone with God, Jesus, your shadow, the birds, the bees, then you're always complaining about wanting nothingness. Buddhists are in the ever living long pursuit of finding nothing. No thoughts, no self, no mind, no space, just nothing. Everybody and their mother, if you go into a big city, if you ask anybody usually what it is that you'd like, are you feeling a little crowded? They'd say, space. I want some space from these crazy people. That's why we have so many boundaries, literally and figuratively, so many walls, so many buildings, so many structures, so many emotional boundaries, mental boundaries, because we're dying for space so that we could have a little taste of nothingness. And yet, when you're finally faced with the nothingness in which so many of us say that we desire, subconsciously, pursue, endlessly, we get all freaked out going backwards. Oh, there's nothingness. Now I'm feeling abandoned. Now I'm feeling alone. Or, oh, I'm feeling lonely. Now I'm feeling abandoned. Now I'm feeling like nothing. It is just a back and forth, going through those steps, going up and down a step ladder. Getting scared when you go all the way up and looking down, and then being terrified going all the way down and looking up. So, we ask you to look at what the hell you're trying to define for yourself with regards to these terms and definitions. What do these words really mean? Because you are never really alone. You genuinely know that you are not nothing. And even if you are afraid that you're nothing, there's always a little something in that nothing. And the fact that it is nothing means that it is something. Nothing generally, if you look at that definition of what nothing means, nothing usually means the unknown. That is what is scary. It is not the nothingness that is scary. It is the unknown that is the scariest. So if that is the basement floor root issue that you are struggling with, the unknown, I'm alone, which means I feel abandoned, which is touching into my ideas that I am nothing. And if I am nothing, then what's in there? The unknown. Terrifying. Do you know what you find in the unknown? Just more of you. A bunch of you. You bump around and you find more of yourself in there. Truly fascinating, exciting, terrifying, a thrill. But not lonely, not abandoned, not nothing. And if you explore a little bit of that unknown, it becomes known. So, again, we give the idea. How can you feel lonely? Explore what that means to you. Define what it means to you. Be okay just being inside of you. No need to rush around looking for other people to disturb your silence and peace, which would potentially prevent you from knowing what it is in the unknown within yourself. It's not scary in there. If you were that scary, then you really would be alone because everybody would be terrified to come near you. And you know it, so it wouldn't really be unknown. So, take a moment, check it out, see what's going on in there. You might be surprised what's floating around in that unknown. As always, we thank you for making time and space for us, and we wish you well checking out that loneliness, that abandonment, that nothingness, the unknown, so that potentially it could become more visceral in your knowing of all it is that you are. Good luck.